This police officer and making.
Yeah.
That's been on bulletproof vest. He's gotta be. Man, I was in Pennsylvania. I was freezing.
Yeah, you came from.
Yeah, I went to my mom, yeah, and it was 28 degrees. Like, wait, this is why I left Pennsylvania.
Went to Boston.
Yeah. Yeah.
You woke up one morning in Vermont, like, well,
I have arthritis.
he's one of the people. I think
Never got above 32.
they didn't bring it.
Hey, kids wanted to go to Hershey Park, we wanted to see Taco World. Yeah, it was open, but they wanted to go on rides. I'm like, no, I'm not taking my tickets. They had a couple rides. No, they had a couple rides open. Ever since they resold to somebody else now, there's another, there's somebody else that owns them now. They shut down right at the end of summer, for about 2 months.
Hey, I thought, you know what, I thought you were somebody else.
Sorry.
Ron
Lasson.
So you were Elliot.
Jack.
Okay.
Yeah, he looks like Elliot.
From behind, you did, I thought it was,
Yeah.
that's what I said.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Let's, I'll say good evening, everyone, again. Let's call this meeting to order. This is the local planning agency, and I'll ask for a roll call
Mayor Weinberg,
here.
Vice Mayor Cruz,
Here.
Commissioner Bloom. Here. Commissioner Friedland,
Present.
Commissioner Joel,
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Here.
Commissioner Stern,
Here.
Mr. Lawson,
Here.
and Mr. Myers. You have a quorum.
Thank you. So far, I noticed the sound system, we've been working on it.
Better.
It sounds really good to me, but I need, I don't want to say feedback. I want to hear from people if you can't hear or you can hear or whatever, but I got a thumbs up. Great. That $14 million was well spent.
Yeah,
Well spent.
actually, the sound engineer is here if you want to raise your hand because he really worked.
Raise your
really
hand,
hard.
sound engineer. So far, so good.
He's in the
Thank you.
back.
Thank you. Round of applause. Okay, now that it sounds good, I want to ask Young, now he's not the mayor, but he is a mayor. Young Mayor Beck, he might be the mayor one day. Mayor, would you come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Come on up. And that would be Andrea Beck. All rise, please.
Let's let everybody turn around.
I can't see. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
That was great. Now, when you get home, you can watch yourself on YouTube. I need a motion to approve the minutes from November 7, 2023. Commissioner Cruz, Vice Mayor Cruz, and seconded by Commissioner Friedland. Let's vote.
Commissioner Bloom,
Yes.
Commissioner Friedland,
Yes.
Commissioner Joel,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Stern.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz.
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, item 4, I need, let's see, we're going to do an adoption of the following, but let me say this. The quasi judicial procedures shall be invoked for 4A, 4B, and 4C. I'll ask the city attorney to provide the procedures for quasi judicial hearings for those items.
Thank you, Mayor. As you said, please be advised that items 4A, B, and C of the LPA agenda are zoning hearings and are quasi judicial nature. As such, the quasi judicial procedures of the city shall be invoked for these items. If you wish to object or comment upon these items, please inform the mayor when public comments are requested. An opportunity for persons to speak on these items will be made available after the applicant and staff have made their presentations on the items. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation for these quasi-judicial items. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you refuse either to be cross-examined or be sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the commission ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from the clerk. Those are the procedures, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. At this time, I'll ask the clerk to swear in anyone wishing to offer testimony on those items.
If you'll be speaking on item 4A, 4B, or 4C, I need you to stand up and raise your right hand and be sworn in at this time. That's for items 4A, 4B, or 4C. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. If you could now read the resolution for item 4A.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, granting conditional use approval pursuant to Section 31-145B3M of the City Code to permit the development of paddle courts and accessory facilities on the top floor of the existing parking garage located at 18851 Northeast 29th Avenue, providing for conditions and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to adopt the resolution? Commissioner Stern, and a second, Commissioner Friedland. Thank you. Community Development Director, do you want to review the item, please?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the clerk mentioned, the address of the proposal is 18851 Northeast 29th Avenue. You'll know it as the parking garage for the UBS building just behind Publix, right around the corner. The request is for approval of a conditional use to allow recreation use in TC1 zoning. So the zoning doesn't allow it as of right, but does allow you to bring uses out of what's called the community facility zone into the TC1 zoning district as a conditional use. This is a picture of what you may know from street level, the UBS building, and the parking garage is tucked in there to the right of that building. And this is the proposed rendering of the Padel courts on the top of the parking garage. Right now it is purely parking. We have analyzed the proposal. It does conform with all the requirements of the code as entered in the staff report, entered into the record here tonight. For example, parking. They have plenty of parking as is, even more than required. Even after this proposed use of the rooftop transition from parking to the Padel courts, there would still be more parking than code requires. So we're supportive of the use, and I'm available for any questions. The applicant is here if you would like them to make any sort of presentation or just answer questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Does the applicant have any comment at this time?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission. Mickey Marrero, attorney for the applicant. My address is 200 South Biscayne Boulevard. We've done a full presentation on this. You've seen it. The architect is with me, Mr. Gervais from Idea Architecture. Really here to answer any questions if you all want. We did bring a sample so you can see how not loud this thing is and how non-intrusive it's going to be. Kevin did put a condition in the order in the resolution to protect from any concerns that if the hours of operation are a nuisance to anybody, we would have to come back. We're confident that won't be the case. Not only is this sport very, by definition, not loud, it's also protected. Each court is enclosed in a glass box to further protect from any impacts. And as you'll see, that one corner that's sort of adjacent to residential, they did propose a landscape buffer for a visual buffer between the use and the building. So again, we're here to answer any questions you might have. We talked about this. You all raised a lot of concerns at the workshop that we tried to address with Kevin. If you have any other concerns or questions, we're here for that.
Thank you so much. We'll see if there's any questions from the commission in a moment. But first, I'll open up for public comment. Anyone that wants to speak, you have to say your name, address, and you have 3 minutes.
Sure.
On this issue. Thank you.
Yes. Alicia Bonvicini, 3029 Northeast 188th Street. I had not seen the rendering, so I'm very glad that I came tonight. I can't believe I'm actually here tonight to make sure that there is a public comment on record about another hard to comprehend project for our city. Paddle courts on top of that building that sits on the corner of Northeast 188th and Northeast 129th Avenue. Are the individuals behind this project aware that there are residents? I actually happen to live in the building next to the courts, Uptown Marina Lofts. Are they aware that the nearby residents can see the space, but mostly can hear what will happen on these courts? Reading the documents attached to the agenda, the one compiled by the Development Department of the city, the criteria section says something like the proposed use shall be consistent with the community character of the immediate neighborhood of the proposed use. The proposed use is consistent with the community character of the immediate neighborhood. This is a residential area. It will serve as an additional resort for the area. And in the same document, the hours struck me no earlier than 7 a.m. and no later than 11 p.m. This stuff will give me pause. Any sport facility for profit built on the roof of a building that is surrounded by apartments is really a wild idea. There is no consistency with the character of the area. These are residential buildings. We don't need this resource that will only undermine people's right to enjoy their homes in peace. And I look for articles about paddle because there are not many. This one is from England. And it's called Noise Like Gunfire. Plans for new paddle courts met with objections. Concerns have been raised about the balls hitting cars and noise like gunfires, as plans to install 3 new paddle courts at a Bournemouth tennis club have been described as inappropriate. Paddle is a small court. It's played with a hard ball, not a string bat, and a hard ball, which you hit against the sides. You got a very high level of percussion from ball to bat and the ball hitting the sides. The other thing is paddle is a much more social activity. You have very high decibels of people shouting. So my question is, are the people aware that 188th Street is also a wildly congested area because of the line for Oasis? I am really asking you tonight, are you going to do this again to your residents, undermining our ability to enjoy our residents peacefully? Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wish to speak? You have 3 minutes. Name and address, please. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Elena Batani, and I am permanent resident in 3029 Northeast 188th Street. And I am concerned because I didn't hear any of any studies regarding the noise. Did you have received any study from this company? Because this really will impact a lot, not just our residents, but all the neighbor. So I would like to know if you received this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Other members of the public on this issue? Seeing none, I'll close for public comment and I'll open it up to the commission. Any commissioners with comments or questions? I see Commissioner Friedland. You want to defer to Commissioner Stern? Commissioner Stern.
Kevin, as of Friday, there was no objections or complaints, and has that changed since today?
Up until these comments, we received no
Nothing. Okay.
objection. or
I want to
complaints.
read this in case you didn't read this. The city commission may, if determined necessary, require either reduced operating hours or mitigating measures to be implemented in the early morning or late hours as determined to be creating a noise nuisance in the surrounding residents. So the commission does have the power to mitigate any nuances that may occur from the noise. So we did not do a noise study. I don't believe we did. Correct me if I'm wrong. No complaints. So with that, I'm in favor of this project.
Commissioner Friedland.
I echo what Commissioner Stern pointed out. Those were comments we insisted on being included when we first looked at the project. When the project was first brought to us, I said, as I will say again, I'm thrilled about it. More fun activities, a new sport that our residents are excited about and want to play up on a commercial building on a rooftop, not affecting traffic, not interfering with the majority of the residents' lives, and with glass encasing around it to protect the noise that will bother any nearby residents. So as I said, I welcome developers to bring projects on rooftops. I welcome this type of fun activities for our city, for the majority of our residents. And I'm very proud of our commission from taking serious consideration and putting protective measures in place. And therefore, I'm in favor of this as well.
Thank you. Any other commission comments? I see none, so I'll close it for question and comment and ask for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Friedland,
Yes.
Commissioner Joel,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Commissioner Stern,
Yes.
Commissioner Bloom,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz.
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes,
Motion passes.
I'll ask the clerk to read the resolution for item 4B, please.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, granting conditional use approval to permit the establishment of a liquor package store at 19205 Biscayne Boulevard, Unit E150, City of Aventura, notwithstanding the spacing and distance requirements for the sale and service of alcoholic beverages regulated by Section 4-2A and 4-2B of the City Code, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Can I have a motion to approve, please? Vice Mayor Cruz and a second from Commissioner Joel. Thank you. Kevin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As the clerk read, the request is at 19205 Biscayne Boulevard for a waiver from the distance spacing requirements for liquor store. The location, you would know, is formerly the Bed Bath & Beyond, which has closed, and the new tenant for that space will be Fresh Market, relocating from their current location to the south. This store will be about twice the size of their current location, which allows them to add a liquor store as an adjacent use, and so they've requested that. Requires commission approval as a conditional use for this to go forward. We've reviewed the criteria in the code as provided on the record in the packet that you have, and staff favors this project and would be available for any questions. Applicant is also here if you'd like them to say a few words or make any presentation or answer questions. Thank you.
Does the applicant want to say anything at this time?
Good evening. Dominic Romano, Spiritus Law for the applicant, 111 Brickell Avenue, Suite 1900. We're here available to answer any questions that you may have, and advice following any public questions, if any. All right, thank you.
Okay. Any members of the public on this specific issue? Seeing none, I'll close it for public comment. Ask if there's any Commissioner Marks?
Hi, Kevin. Just a quick question. Was this workshopped?
No, actually, Commissioner, this item was not workshopped. As you may recall, at one time, we were discussing making these types of applications administrative. The request was still put them on the agenda so the commission is aware of them. But since we didn't have a meeting since November, we believed it would be adequate to bring this without a workshop, as the commission has typically supported them, and there was such a long time frame that the applicant would have had to wait.
Any other questions or comments? Sorry, Commissioner Friedland.
I have a question. Bed Bath & Beyond did actually sell wine, if I recall. So is the variance specific to the vendor or the location?
It is both. It's the location for this applicant, and this is a liquor store. So even if they had relied on a previous approval for wine, I think they would have had to upgrade it for the liquor.
And just for the benefit of the public, what's happening here is this is an existing store in our city moving to a larger space. Am I correct? Does anyone know what they have? Does the applicant know what they have and what they're moving to in terms of square footage?
I don't know if they have the details. My recollection is they are around 19,000 square feet in their existing location, and there'll be 40,000 square feet roughly in the new location.
Good.
And they're nodding yes, so that people are aware. Fresh Market, for those of you that enjoy shopping there, is essentially doubling in size and staying in our city. That's what's happening here if we vote to approve. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Any other comment? If not, I'll close it and we'll vote.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Stern?
Yes.
Commissioner Bloom?
Yes.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz?
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Moving on to item C, I'll ask the clerk to read that resolution 4C for the record.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, granting conditional use approval pursuant to Section 31-144C2P of the City Code to permit the establishment of a coffee shop with a drive-through in the proposed Starbucks to be located at 20401 Biscayne Boulevard, providing for conditions and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve. Commissioner Friedland, seconded by Commissioner Bloom. Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Please note the address is 20401 Biscayne Boulevard. I have a typo in my presentation. As the clerk mentioned, you all know this as the Promenade Shops. You have seen this at workshop. You actually, as a commission, approved an ordinance which allowed drive-through restaurants to be considered as conditional use in B2. Prior to you approving that, Aventura did not allow drive-throughs in our city for restaurants or food service. So this would be the first conditional use to come under that new ordinance. Again, it's a Starbucks. It's at the Promenade Shops. Here's a picture of the existing building. It's been vacant for quite a while. It was a TD Bank most recently. This building would come down and a Starbucks with a drive-through would go in its place. This is a rendering. We have not received full permit sets yet, so this might change somewhat, but all you're approving tonight would be the allowance for them to have a drive-through Starbucks at the Promenade Shops. They've met all the criteria. Applicant has a representative here if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you. The applicant wish to say anything? Okay, and please, no, you're, whatever you want.
Again, Mickey Marrero, 200 South Biscayne Boulevard. Again, we talked about this at length, both originally at the workshop and at the ordinance first and second reading.
She can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I thought I was taller than I am for a second. Fooled myself. So yeah, you've seen it not only at the workshop, but at the two commission meetings where the ordinance was approved. This was essentially the same drawing that we showed then. What I will tell you, the only change that might happen, Starbucks is still working. They're going to have an art installation on the wall of that building. That is demonstrative, but they're going to select an artist. There will be hopefully something really exciting there. But again, all this is allowing the drive-through at the Starbucks, as especially after COVID, the drive-through part of their business is a significant portion. And I think a lot of you, and certainly myself, enjoy getting my Starbucks in the car. So this would simply allow that to happen. And if you have any questions, we're here. But I imagine you guys, this is pretty straightforward. Thank you.
I know the applicant was asked to provide lattes to everyone that showed up tonight, so I'm assuming they're in the alcove there.
Unfortunately, I had to consult with your city attorney, and the lattes were prohibited as an illegal gift. Just kidding. No lattes. No, but hopefully we can all enjoy them soon at the Starbucks.
Thank you. I don't think I took public comment yet, so anyone from the public wish to speak on the drive-through Starbucks? Seeing none, I'll ask for Commissioner Freeland. Go ahead. I'll close it to public comment.
I will just say, I know I'm speaking on a lot of residents in our community. We are thrilled to have a drive-through Starbucks. We've wanted one forever. But I do want to caution the applicant that we have a color palette with our buildings. And although the art you're presenting looks beautiful, I just want to make sure that if it's a deviation of our color palette, that's something that gets, approval before you begin some kind of installation. Although that might be, something worth considering because it looks beautiful.
Any other commission comment? Seeing none, I'll close it and we'll vote, please.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Stern?
Yes.
Commissioner Bloom?
Yes.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz?
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As you all know, this will be right in front of you again. You just acted as the local planning agency on these three items. We will hear these again during the commission meeting, and I know we have one more item on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, the clerk can read 4D.
An ordinance of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending Section 2-339, Contents and Service of Warning, and Section 2-340, Contents and Service of Notice, and Article 5, Code Enforcement of Chapter 2, Administration, amending Section 22-54, Rates in Chapter 22, Cable Communications, amending Section 31-71, Procedures of General Applicability, Section 31-77, Amendments to the Land Development Regulations and Official Zoning Map, and Section 31-241, Wireless Telecommunications Towers and Antennas in Chapter 31, to remove all references to newspaper of general circulation, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney?
Thank you, Mayor. So usually I'm the bearer of bad news, especially when it's all things Tallahassee. And this is a situation where Tallahassee actually considered the pocketbook of local government agencies. So 2 years ago, the legislature amended Chapter 50 of Florida statutes to allow local governments to publish their legal notices on the web. The way this works is the county has to create a website whereby all these notices can be published. And as opposed to publishing things in the Miami Herald or the Daily Business Review, it's tremendously expensive, and the clerk and the manager can attest to this, what it costs to publish things in the Miami Herald. Unfortunately, we've been using the Daily Business Review, as most governments have, but the Daily Business Review is no longer accepting ads from government anymore. So the county is working on creating this website, this accessible website, where the notices from Aventura and any other city that wants to join can be posted. Now, the reason why this item is before you is because the amendment to state law allows this publication to occur on these websites, even if the charter or the code says that things have to be published in newspapers of general circulation. So what we had to do is we had to remove the sections of the city code that require publication in newspaper of general circulation. And as long as you are compliant with Chapter 50, it's okay to do that. So the ordinance in front of you is to remove all references to newspaper of general circulation in the code, which will allow us every notice, every legal notice that we have to publish, will be in the county, on the county website. And the negotiations we've been having with the vendor and their real auction, it's going to cost the county, it's going to cost the city about $50 per notice, which is dirt cheap. It hasn't been passed yet, so we probably will be bringing an agreement to you in a couple of months. So we may have to publish in the Herald for a couple of months, but after that, we'll be publishing on the county website, $50 an ad, and that's a ganga, as they say.
Thank you, and thank you for getting us ahead of the curve so that we save tax dollars. I need a motion to approve this. Commissioner Stern and seconded by Commissioner Bloom. Any member of the public want to comment on this issue? I see none. I will close it for public comment. Any commissioners want to speak on this issue? I see none. I will close it and we'll vote.
Commissioner Stern,
Yes.
Commissioner Bloom, Commissioner Friedland,
Yes.
Commissioner Joel,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz.
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes,
The motion passes.
thank you. Just want to recognize, I see Consul General from Israel, Mor Elbaz Dorinsky is in the house. I appreciate you being here, Consul. And I see former Mayor Jeffrey Perlow, I think, is in the house. He may have just stepped out, but I appreciate him being here. Having said that, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn the LPA. I have Commissioner Bloom, second by Commissioner Joel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Okay.
Okay, we're back. Let's call the commission meeting to order and call the roll, please.
Mayor Weinberg,
Here.
Vice Mayor Cruz.
Here.
Commissioner Bloom,
Here.
Commissioner Friedland,
Present.
Commissioner Joel.
Here.
Commissioner Dr. Marks.
Here.
Commissioner Stern.
Here.
Mr. Lawson.
Here.
And Mr. Myers. You have a quorum.
Thank you. Any, Mr. Manager, any additions or deletions to the agenda?
Mayor, I don't have any specifically.
Okay. I'm gonna pull 5D from the consent agenda just because it's very awkward the way things are set up. So, we're gonna do that now. I'm gonna ask the clerk to, read the motion for 5D. It's really just pro forma.
A motion to approve the presentation of a key to the city to Clifford A. Schulman.
I need a motion to approve. Commissioner Bloom, seconded by Commissioner Friedland. Mr. Manager, you want to tell us what this is all about?
I'd be happy to. Cliff Schulman has been a longstanding resident of Aventura and has also been a very dedicated public servant. He served many years on the Aventura Marketing Council as its president and main organizer. And he's also done an amazing job in the city representing many developers and seeing that a lot of the development in the city was done correctly and to the city's requirements. So I'm sure everybody here has some good Cliff stories. So.
Okay, so then I need a motion to approve. Commissioner Dr. Marks, seconded by Commissioner Friedland. And is there anyone in the public that would like to comment on this motion? Seeing none, I'll close it. Any commissioner want to make any comment at this time? We're not doing the item now. This is just to approve that we will be doing it. No comment. So let's vote.
Commissioner Stern.
Yes.
Commissioner Bloom.
Yes.
Commissioner Friedland.
Yes.
Commissioner Joel.
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz.
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. We're gonna, hold on, Cliff. I'm going to be having this item, your item, in a moment. This was just, we had to make sure the commissioners were in favor of it. So now we're gonna do it. So give me 5 minutes, okay?
Take your time.
So first is item 4, which is proclamations. It just so happens, the first item under proclamations is Clifford A. Schulman Day. So what do I have here? I believe it was 13 years as chairman of the Aventura Marketing Council. By the way, I was today old when I learned that your name is Clifford. So first of all, I'm very proud to have a proclamation. I want to read it, okay? Whereas Clifford A. Schulman is a longtime resident of the city of Aventura, and whereas Cliff has served our community as well as various others throughout South Florida for close to 5 decades, specializing in the areas of land use and environmental law, and served as chairman of the Florida Bar's Committee on Land Use and Environmental Law. And whereas Mr. Schulman is recognized as one of the preeminent zoning, land use, and land development lawyers in Florida, and has worked on many of the major developments shaping the South Florida skyline today. And whereas Cliff Schulman has devoted numerous years of service to the business community as a former chairman of the board of the Aventura Marketing Council and former chair of the board of directors of the Miami-Dade Urban Debate League, with extensive recognitions, including the Torch of Freedom Award from the Anti-Defamation League and a congressional tribute from Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Howard Weinberg, as mayor and on behalf of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, do hereby proclaim January 9, 2024 as Clifford A. Schulman Day. Very proud of you. But as they say on infomercials, that's not all. There's more. If you order today, it includes, which we're all going to come down there and take pictures with you, but I'm going to be presenting you with the key to the city because you deserve it. You've been here since the very, very beginning, even before the beginning. And There's more. You're going home with a bunch of goodies. Because we live in an all condominium community, when I was a commissioner and from time to time we would give the key to the city, it got back to me that the recipients found that late at night, as they were traveling throughout our community, the key wasn't opening anything. And the reason for that is because we're condominiums. So I created the mayor's fob to the city. So now when you're wandering around, you will be able to get in. So we're all going to come down there. I would love to hear from you, and then we'll all come down and take photos and give you your award. So if you will, and we want to recognize that your lovely wife is here as well. Go right into the microphone because
Cliff, just touch is it red or is it green? Okay, just touch the red.
Is that better?
Oh, yeah, beautiful.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, and Mr. Myers.
He wants you to say the best city attorney again.
I want to thank you all for this very well-deserved honor. But in all candor, I have a confession. When I was an assistant county attorney 100 years ago, and I've been practicing, Mr. Mayor, more than 50 years, I opposed the creation of this municipality and all other municipalities because Dade County was a constitutional home rule county. And we at the county fought Key Biscayne, we fought the incorporation of Aventura. I have a confession also to make. I was wrong. About a year later, after the city was created, I was in Aventura Mall, and a fight broke out in front of me in the parking lot. Police officer was involved. He needed help. He hit his walkie-talkie, and we had 3 police cars there in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. When I was robbed in the unincorporated area of Miami-Dade County in North Miami Beach, it took 20 minutes to get a response from Miami-Dade County. So a year later, this city police department was up for national certification. I testified that I was wrong, that this city, it's the police department, is a gem, and it is truly the city of excellence. I thank you for putting up with me for the better part of 50 years and my weird sense of humor, but shtick has always been my thing, and it's always been a pleasure to appear before you. You are a preeminent city commission council in Miami-Dade County, and I think even Robert would agree it's the best city that we've ever represented. I thank you all.
Well, I also want to mention that aside from all the professional work you've done on behalf of the city, you've been a long time resident of the city. We're all going to come down now and take some photos with you, so don't leave. Commissioners, please join me.
Stay right where you are.
Thank you all.
Yes. There. Great. Just like that. And they of your choice.
Go for it, get them.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you all.
I see former Mayor Jeffrey Perlow now. I gave you a shout out and you were not in the room, but thank you for being here. Okay, so the fun is not over. We have another proclamation. We have a member of our community that's always been beloved and is always looking to help others. And after the events of October 7th, his efforts took on a whole new meaning and reached a whole new level. And they really haven't stopped yet. I'm going to ask Commissioner Bloom to take it from here.
So as the mayor said, This individual has been tirelessly working on behalf of the City of Aventura community for many years and tirelessly working on behalf of the State of Israel since October 7th. And I was so impressed and blown away by his efforts and dedication that I asked the mayor if we could honor him, and the entire commission, it was like a resounding yes. So it's my pleasure to present this to Shlomi Ezra. Whereas Shlomi Ezra has been a successful member of the City of Aventura community for over 20 years, and whereas Mr. Ezra is known for his many humanitarian and philanthropic efforts, including his support of Simcha Yeladim in orchestrating trips to Disney for children from Israel fighting cancer, as well as providing events for local children with special needs. And whereas Shlomi has also proactively assisted those in need through providing food and essential items following hurricanes, as well as a building collapse in a neighboring municipality. And whereas in the wake of the October 7th, 2023 terrorist attacks in Israel, Mr. Ezra and other local business entrepreneurs established Community is Unity to raise awareness and provide aid to those impacted in the State of Israel. And whereas the City of Aventura would like to recognize Shlomi Ezra for his dedication and commitment as an integral part of not only our community, but countless others, and thank him for his continued acts of compassion and altruism.
Now therefore be it resolved that I, Howard Weinberg, as mayor, and on behalf of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, do hereby proclaim January 9, 2024 as Shlomi Ezra Day. So we'd love it if you would say a few words, and if there's any of your friends or family that want to say anything, they're more than welcome to. Then we'll actually have you come up here and take a picture with all of us, and we'll present you with this proclamation. I just want to point out, the more astute listeners may have picked up on the fact that it's both Clifford Shulman Day and Shlomi Ezra Day. So that is for the two of you to take it outside and figure it out. Okay, we're not getting involved.
Well, it's a very exciting day for me. For someone that came from Israel about 20 years ago, without knowing anyone, any money, barely speak English, not that now it's any better, but working on it. To get this recognition for everything that I did, it's not just me. Actually, there is a lot of people that sit in this room that without them, I wouldn't be able to do it. So first of all, Mayor, I want to say thank you very much. And all the commissioners, special Amit, thank you, God bless you. To my wife, Hannah, do you mind if I turn? Shiley, Emily, all my friends, Jeff, Philip, especially the Faith family. And there is one special person that I owe him a lot for everything, okay? There is a friend, Sunny, that became special, but behind them, I have my mentor, Mr. Eddie Faith. Eddie Faith been like a father figure to me, big mentor for me, for the community. All of you knows that every year we bring soldier from Israel. I learn from him what is really to give back to the community. So thank you very much. Special in days like that Israel go to a lot, suffering, all the anti-Semitic from all over the world, to get this recognition by City of Excellence, Aventura, a place that I call it home. When I left Israel, I couldn't believe that I'll find another place that I'll call it home. But thanks to you guys, I consider that as my home. Raising up my beautiful children here, my business and everything. So again, thank you, and I appreciate it.
And your family as well. Yes, any commissioners that want to speak, please. Commissioner Cruz?
I just want to chime in as well from personally and from the city of Aventura. Shlomi, you've been such a exemplary leader in our community. Everybody knows our city. There's no city that's more pro-Israel and more involved with what's going on between our two countries. And we have a sister city in Israel that's Modi'in that we're very proud of, because we know that what goes on in Israel is important to what happens here. We all know that Israel is our front line on the war on terror. So when people say, why are we so interested in what's going on over there? It's because it affects us. It's crucial to our national security interest to defend and protect the state of Israel, because as much as we get from the beautiful, from this beautiful country, the United States gets even more. So it's really important. And I also want to say thank you to the Faith family. Everybody knows they own many restaurants, including Bagel Cove, and I own Moe's Bagels, but I consider them like family as well because they're amazing people. They really get what it's like to give back and to be proud to be part of an excellent city, an excellent community that gets it. And so this is why I want to do a shout out to the Faith family and also to our friends from Rolling Thunder who are here in the Israeli community, because we are all in this together. So thank you very much. And Shlomi, Mazal Tov, nobody deserves it more.
I'm asking the Consul General, Maor, to join us for the photo as well.
Look right at me first. All right, look right over here. 1, 2, 3. Pause 1 second. 1, 2. Perfect.
Dad. Congratulations.
Oh, my God. So glad, congratulations. Thank you.
Okay, moving on. The city manager has an employee service award. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. If I could have your attention, I'm going to invite Kimberly Merchant, our Community Services Director, to join me down here. She probably doesn't need much of introduction because if you've been to one of our parks or been to an event in the city, you've seen her around. We're recognizing her tonight because she's been with the city for 15 years. She started out as a special events coordinator and slowly but surely worked her way up. And then when about 7 years ago, the Public Works Department separated and the Community Service Department became its own department, Kimberly was named as director. And she's been doing a fantastic job ever since. And I have to say, you really know people when you're hit with adversity. And I have to say, when we had COVID and we were really shutting down, this person next to me really showed her true colors. We were one of the few cities that actually maintained our doors open for service in our communities, in our community center. It was not easy. Many cities just decided it's just too complicated. It's too much of a risk. And she managed to pull it off. I mean, we were a little, diminished on how many people we can handle, but the bottom line was we stayed open. And we were definitely, and we were the first city to have an open park when nobody did. So if you know all of I always recognize we're always putting extra stuff on her shoulder. It never ends. We talk about that. And but she always manages to pull off a great thing and a great event. She takes advice when how to make things better, and she really takes it seriously. Right now, we're working on a 5K race that will be coming up in April, which is a new event. So we're really excited about that. But she's really a fantastic person, and we're recognizing her with the 15-year award. And this beautiful box. Okay.
Hold on, we got to pose for March.
Oh, Marge, come on. Marge, you can come closer if you want.
Kimberly, not so fast. I don't know if I see Commissioner Freeland wants to comment. If any other commissioners do as well, I just want to say that I personally think you do a fantastic job. The parks are great, but the events, I always see the smiling faces. At the end of the day, that's the feedback we're looking for, right? Are the kids having fun? And you always make sure that the kids are having fun. It's something I always look for. I always see it. And just recently, the Winter Wonderland, where we lit the tree and the menorah, so many smiles, so much positive feedback where people said, "Oh, I didn't even know you guys did this. I'm so glad I came." And it's already, year 2, we had like close to 1,000 people, and it's really remarkable. I did not realize that you were here for 15 years. I did not realize that 15 years ago we were hiring 12-year-olds, but congratulations. And I hope that moving forward that we get more of same. Commissioner Friedland?
I just want to say, I agree. We definitely hired Kimberly when she was 12. My babies were 4 years old, 6 years old, and they were playing in the parks. They were playing soccer. My boys were playing football and baseball. Even when my son broke his arm, Kimberly was there. When there was an ice pack that was needed, she was on the field and she got it for me. And I never knew that she was going to grow and become this important woman in the city. She was just one of the people in the parks that was helping everybody and making all of the activities incredible in the city. And over the years, I've watched you blossom and grow in your career and become the woman that runs the department and everyone looks up to and admires and does what you tell them to do in your department. And she gets everything done. And I'm also one of the people that she probably wants to kill the most because I always come up with new ideas and new activities that we need to have in the city. And now we need volleyball and now we need more parks and more fields. But eventually she comes around and she makes it happen and we keep adding and doing what we need. I will agree with what Ron said. When COVID happened, she made sure our city didn't stop. She made sure our parks stayed open for the people and the residents, and she worked tirelessly. When we decided to vaccinate children in our city, she went with me to learn how to give vaccines. She learned how to fill a syringe and give a needle to help save lives. We were happy that doctors and nurses showed up to help us, but she knows how to do it. And she went out of her way to save lives of the children and the residents of Aventura. And this is the kind of woman she is. And I'm proud and honored that she has stayed with our city this long. And I hope she will be here for many more years to come. Thank you for all you do.
Commissioner Stern.
Without repeating everything that was just said, because I totally agree, no matter what is thrown at you, you rise to the occasion, you go above and beyond. You act like you're three people, you do three people's jobs. I am so proud. The residents have no idea how lucky they are when they just show up, what goes on behind the scenes. I know because I talk to you. You've seen a lot of our kids grow from being born to go to college. You are such an instrumental part of this city, and I hope that you continue doing what you're doing, and thank you for everything you do, Kimberly.
Thank you.
We love you, Kimberly.
Thank you. No charter school update tonight. Governing board is coming up. So in lieu of that, I'm going to just, speaking of events, very briefly, I'm going to call up two young ladies, Stacy Levy and Cindy Orlinsky. Don't laugh when I call you young. Come on, I know you have an event and you want to tell us about it, please. Something we, most of us participate in every year.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you because all of you have been so supportive and this is our 6th year and you've helped to really make it the success that this event has become. So I just really want to thank you all for that. So we're talking about the Dirty Socks 5K Run and Walkathon. It is being held to raise money for Ellie's Army Foundation. Ellie's Army Foundation was named for my daughter, Ellie, who had cystic fibrosis. And while we were in the hospitals with her growing up, we saw a lot of families that were experiencing tremendous financial burdens because of their child's illness. So we started a foundation, and when Ellie passed away in 2014, we changed the name of the foundation to Ellie's Army to honor her memory. So Ellie's Army helps assist these families with critically ill children and young adults, and we help them with whatever it is that they need. Many of them come to us about to lose their homes, so we help pay for them to avoid eviction and foreclosure, food, medical expenses, whatever they need. that's what we help them with. And we really aim to help them get back on their feet, not just put a Band-Aid on the situation, but really make a difference in their lives. So that's what we're raising money for on February 25th. And Cindy I'll just tell quickly what Dirty Socks is about. So at the end of my daughter's life, she had 2 double lung transplants back to back. And the doctors told her that if she wanted to get well, she would have to walk. And her transplant surgeon asked her for dirty socks because that would prove that she had been walking. And so we named the event Dirty Socks because all children in the hospital wear medical socks and they have to walk. So on February 25th, we're going to walk for them and we're going to walk for Ellie.
So Cindy Orlinsky, and we're here to invite you all to come to the event. So it's our 6th year, which is pretty incredible. It's become a community event, a huge turnout and support from all of you and the police department, the fire, everybody comes and including friends and family. And so we hope that all of you can join us again this year, February 25th at 7 a.m. We start pretty early and we're done pretty early. So as you all know, we have food trucks, we have entertainment, a lot of sports heroes will be there. Hopefully we'll have Duncan Robinson back this year. Bernie from the Heat comes, a lot of football players and a lot more surprises this year. We're changing it up a little bit. So hopefully you'll enjoy all the new happenings and we'll see you all there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. See you there. Yeah. Commissioner Marks?
So Stacy and Cindy, I remember back when you came the very first year. And I remember hearing a mom who lost a child and yet took that opportunity to turn it into something to help others. And Stacy, what you do every year in honor and memory of your daughter takes a lot of effort and a lot of courage, and it's not simple. And we know and understand how hard it is, but the good you've done for so many people is so unbelievable that your daughter is watching you and she's so proud of you. Cindy, you took this event from just, the very beginning, and you've worked so hard to make it an amazing event. The two of you together are an amazing power couple, let me tell you. And I just want to say that you are so inspirational, both of you. So on behalf of all the children who really benefit, thank you for what you do because it's beautiful.
Thank you. Okay, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda. Commissioner Bloom, seconded by Commissioner Joel. Let's get a roll call vote.
Commissioner Bloom,
Yes.
Commissioner Friedland,
Yes.
Commissioner Joel,
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks.
Yes.
Commissioner Stern,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz.
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay. We're going to number 6. This is all going to seem familiar because we did this before. Now we have to do it again. This is quasi judicial, so it'll be 6A, 6B, and 6C. I'll ask the city attorney to remind us of the procedures.
I'm sorry that I have to read them again, but that's required by law. Please be advised that items 6A, B, and C of the commission agenda are zoning hearings and are quasi judicial nature. As such, the quasi judicial procedures of the city shall be invoked for these items. If you wish to object or comment upon these items, please inform the mayor when public comments are requested. An opportunity for persons to speak on these items will be made available after the applicant staff have made their presentations on the items. All testimony, including public testimony and evidence, will be made under oath or affirmation for these quasi judicial items. Additionally, each person who gives testimony may be subject to cross-examination. If you refuse either to be cross-examined or be sworn, your testimony will be given its due weight. The general public will not be permitted to cross-examine witnesses, but the public may request the commission ask questions of staff or witnesses on their behalf. Persons representing organizations must present evidence of their authority to speak for the organization. Further details of the quasi-judicial procedures may be obtained from clerk. Those are the procedures, Mr. Mayor.
Absolutely fascinating. can the clerk please swear in anyone that's going to offer testimony?
If you will be speaking on items 6A, 6B, or 6C, I need you to stand up, raise your right hand, and be sworn at this time. The 6A, 6B, and 6C. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you.
Okay, if you can read 6A.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, granting conditional use approval pursuant to Section 31-145B3M of the City Code to permit the development of paddle courts and accessory facilities on the top floor of the existing parking garage located at 18851 Northeast 29th Avenue, providing for conditions and providing for an effective date.
Okay, can I have a motion to approve? Commissioner Stern, seconded by Vice Mayor Cruz and Community Development Director. I don't think we need a review, but
I have an equally fascinating presentation as the city attorneys. If you have any additional questions, otherwise just draw the former presentation into this.
Unless someone demands it, I'll open for public comment. Anyone? I see no one. I'll close public comment. Any questions from the commission? Seeing none, I'll close it. Let's vote.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Stern?
Yes.
Commissioner Bloom?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz?
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Okay, read 6B, please, Madam Clerk.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, granting conditional use approval to permit the establishment of a liquor package store at 19205 Biscayne Boulevard, Unit E150, City of Aventura, notwithstanding the spacing and distance requirements for the sale and service of alcoholic beverages regulated by Section 4-2A and 4-2B of the City Code, providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Can I have a motion to approve? Commissioner Freeland, seconded by Commissioner Bloom. Kevin, I don't see anyone clamoring for another review. Any members of the public? I see none. I'll close. Any commissioners? I see none. I'll close. Let's vote.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Stern?
Yes.
Commissioner Bloom?
Yes.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz?
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, I believe we're on 6C.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, granting conditional use approval pursuant to Section 31-144C2P of the City Code to permit the establishment of a coffee shop with a drive-through and the proposed Starbucks to be located at 20401 Biscayne Boulevard, providing for conditions and providing for an effective date.
Motion approved, Commissioner Stern, seconded by Commissioner Joel. Don't need to hear it again, it looks like. Any members of the public still not interested? Any members of the commission? No. Let's vote.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Stern?
Yes.
Commissioner Bloom?
Yes.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz?
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, we move through item 7, ordinances on first reading. Madam Clerk, 7A.
An ordinance of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending Article 2, Local Business Taxes of Chapter 18, Business Regulations, Taxes and Permits of the City Code by amending Section 18-42 Tax Schedule by providing an increase of 5%, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for implementation and providing for an effective date.
Motion approved, Commissioner Stern, second, Commissioner Friedland. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Every 2 years, the law allows this, the city to raise its business tax receipts by no more than 5%. Over the years, Aventura had not done that, and in a review of the schedule, it was recommended that we do raise it 5% this year. We are still one of the lowest taxing cities in the Miami-Dade County, and we still, even with this, we still will be at the kind of at the bottom. So the staff is recommending that you approve this.
Okay, any public comment on this? Doesn't look like it. Any commission comment on this? Doesn't look like it. I'm closing both and voting.
Commissioner Stern?
Yes.
Commissioner Bloom?
Yes.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz?
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Please read item 7B.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending the legislative expense amount for the mayor and individual commissioners as provided for in section 2.06 of the City of Aventura Charter, approving a $500 monthly increase to the legislative expense account for each city commission member, authorizing the city manager to do all things necessary to carry out the aims of this ordinance and providing for an effective date.
I need a motion to approve. Commissioner Joel, a second. Commissioner Bloom, Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. If you haven't realized that this commission is extremely involved in the community and does a tremendous amount of work outside of regular meetings. And as such, it was recommended by myself, the manager, that their expense account be increased slightly by $500 on a monthly basis.
Okay, any member of the public want to comment on that issue? Seeing none, I'll close that. Any commissioners want to comment? Seeing none, I'll close. Let's vote, please.
Commissioner Bloom?
Yes.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Stern?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz?
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
No.
The motion passes 6-1.
7C, please.
An ordinance of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending Section 2-339, Contents and Service of Warning, and Section 2-340, Contents and Service of Notice, and Article 5, Code Enforcement of Chapter 2, Administration, amending Section 22-54, Rates, and Chapter 22, Cable Communications, amending Section 31-71, Procedures of General Applicability, Section 31-77, amendments to the land development regulations and official zoning map, and Section 31-241, wireless telecommunications towers and antennas in Chapter 31, to remove all references to newspaper of general circulation, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. I need a motion to approve Commissioner Stern and seconded by Vice Mayor Cruz. Mr. City Attorney.
Yeah, this item was heard in your capacity as the LPA earlier in the evening, and I think we should just incorporate those comments I made into the record unless you want to hear it again.
Definitely not. Any members of the public? Seeing none, I'll close. Any members of the commission? Seeing none, I'll close. Why don't we vote?
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Stern?
Yes.
Commissioner Bloom?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz?
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Item 8, we're up to ordinance's second reading. If the clerk can read 8A.
An ordinance of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending ordinance number 2022-20, which ordinance adopted a budget for the 2022-2023 fiscal year by revising the 2022-2023 fiscal year operating and capital budget as outlined in Exhibit A attached hereto, authorizing the city manager to do all things necessary to carry out the aims of this ordinance and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve. Commissioner Bloom, second. Vice Mayor Cruz. Any members of the public want to comment? Seeing none, I'll close. Any members of the commission? Seeing none, I'll close. Vote, please. Roll call. Vote.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Stern?
Yes.
Commissioner Bloom?
Yes.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz?
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes.
Motion passes.
8B, please.
An ordinance of the City of Aventura, Florida, amending Chapter 36 Retirement, Article 2, Police Pension Plan and Trust Fund by amending Section 36-31, Compliance with Internal Revenue Code to provide for compliance with the Secure 2.0 Act, providing for repeal, providing for severability, providing for inclusion in the code, and providing for an effective date.
Motion to approve. Commissioner Joel, seconded by Vice Mayor Cruz. Mr. Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. From time to time, the federal government or the IRS makes changes to the tax law. And in this case, it was a requirement that we needed to amend the pension plan that we have for the police officers. And the change this basically was to extend the time people have when they have to, they're mandatorily required to start taking distributions of their retirement plans. So it added a year, depending on when you were born and when you retired and how many years of service, it would add an extra year to when you had to take your money.
Thank you. Any public comment? Seeing none, I'll close. Any commission comment? Seeing none, I'll close and ask for roll call vote.
Commissioner Dr. Marks?
Yes.
Commissioner Stern?
Yes.
Commissioner Bloom?
Yes.
Commissioner Friedland?
Yes.
Commissioner Joel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cruz?
Yes.
And Mayor Weinberg.
Yes.
The motion passes.
Moving on to item 9, there are no resolutions. Item 10, reports. Any members of the commission have anything to report on? I don't see anyone. Oh, Commissioner Bloom, please.
It isn't so much a report as an acknowledgement that our Director of Communications celebrated a birthday yesterday. So just wanted to wish him a happy birthday.
Very nice. Happy birthday, Director of Communications.
Happy birthday.
Where is she?
Any other reports? Seeing none, we'll open it up now for, and that includes the manager and the attorney. I see no reports, so we'll open up for public comment. I'll ask the city attorney to, well, let me do the, okay. I was going to say, first, let me see if there is any public comment. There is. Okay, Mr. City Attorney, you're up.
Okay, very briefly. So this is the period in the meeting where the public has 3 minutes to speak on items that were not already heard by the commission. It's got to be something within the jurisdiction of the commission. It's not a back and forth with the commission. It's just up to 3 minutes to make a presentation. Thank you.
Okay, just state your name and address. You have 3 minutes. Good evening.
Good evening, members. Thank you, Commissioner.
I'm sorry, just make sure it's green, that button on your microphone, green.
It is green.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Commissioners. It was a pleasure being here. It's my first time. I've been a resident of Aventura for the past 3 years. I live at 19195 Mystic Point Drive, apartment 1710. And, you know, I really love Aventura. I want to express it to you all. Thank you so much for putting all the effort in making this an amazing city. Before Aventura, I lived in New York. Before New York, I lived in Montana. Before Montana, I lived in Germany. Before Germany, I lived in California. Before California, I lived in Germany. And then before that, it was New Jersey. It's like, I was in the military, so I was all over the place. And again, out of all those places, this is my favorite. When I came here, I was single. My hope was to get a family, to find a wife, to have a kid. I did. I found a wife. I now have a 10-month-old kid. And, you know, with that being said, you know, I'm hopeful that this is a city that is oriented towards families and kids and parks and recreational things that are, you know, hopefully going to be continuing developing here. I understand that there are certain projects that are being built in the city. And again, this is awesome. City should develop. But certain projects that were approved, I think, a few years ago may not be currently what the city needs. I know this subject has been brought up before. I know there were proponents to this project, but I would like to see if it's possible to reconsider the ongoing project that is happening near the Lehman Causeway Bridge for a building facility. Again, it seems like this has been brought up in the past, again, years ago, but the city has changed. When I moved here, I didn't see this many kids and this many families. It was a retirement community. Now it's a thriving community. It's a young community. We want to attract more families. We want to attract more young professionals, such as myself. I may consider myself one. So that area is perfect for a park. Well, you know, from talking to other families that live in my community. And again, Mystic Point is an amazing community, but more parks, more recreation for families would be best. So hopefully you take that in consideration, kind of moving forward with some of the projects, with some of the buildings and things like that to develop the city. So thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure being here and seeing all the awards you've given out. It's amazing. So really happy to be part of this.
Thank you, and thank you for your service. What branch were you in?
Air Force.
Thank you. I wasn't sure what you're referring to. Are you talking about the little empty piece of land? Okay, so just so you're aware, so that is a private piece of property that somebody owns. They've decided to develop it. They have the right to do so. The project was actually approved before this commission was sworn in. It was the prior commission. But the point is, I would imagine, without asking, every one of us would prefer that that's a park. That would be great. It's not happening because it's a piece of land that's worth millions of dollars. And we can't tell the developer that they have to make it a park. It just doesn't work that way. If we wanted to buy it for several $1 million and then tell you that you no longer have the lowest tax rate of any city in Miami-Dade or Broward, then we'd have people in here telling us, why did you raise our taxes? So every privately owned piece of property, which basically is all the property in our city other than our parks in this building, they have certain rights. So that's a project that came to the prior commission. It was approved. They could not say, no, you can't build anything. That wasn't one of the options.
Mm-hmm.
They actually had the right to build a taller building than their building. I remember because I was sitting there where you are. They could have come in with a taller building. Instead, they came in with a shorter building that's like assisted living, which ends up, according to the traffic studies, just so you know, with less trips than if it was purely a residential condominium, because most of the people, unfortunately, when they go in there, they're not coming, I mean, they're coming out, I don't want to say it, but they're not going back and forth each day. They're not walking to the park, driving to work. So again, you have to be realistic of what the commission can and cannot do.
No, and absolutely. And again, I'm not a legal counsel. I unfortunately, I don't know all the legalities here. I would be concerned for the assisted living members living by that bridge. It's a loud bridge. I don't know if you ever, I live in Mystic Point on that ocean side and a little bit far away from the bridge, but at night, all the cars racing down, Lamborghinis going back to Sunny Isles. It's going to be loud for them. You're going to have a lot of complaints happening, and there's going to be a lot of issues with traffic as they're building for emergency traffic. Because again, we do have elderly folks living in Mystic Point. So getting like ambulances, fire trucks, or anything in that, because it's such a tight area.
And probably if you spoke to any commissioner privately, they would agree with you, but the developer has the right to do it. Whether it's a smart business idea or not is not relevant. It's, do they have the right to do it? They've decided to do it. But in any event, I appreciate your service and I appreciate the nice things you said about our city, and Mazel Tov on your family.
Thank you. Thank you. Mazel Tov to you.
Yes, and Commissioner Marks.
Hi. Thank you for coming and thank you for being a young parent. We're thrilled. We have so many young people now and it is wonderful. Thank you also for your service. I think being new, one of the things that you really should do, make an appointment with our city manager, Ron Wasson. Let him explain to you, because you probably have a lot of questions that are similar to this. There's various development and such, but there are also many laws governing all of these things. And I think it would be really great to make that appointment, sit with him, and he'll be able to explain it with Kevin, who's over here, who handles the, the building part of this. But I would really suggest that you make that appointment and go see
Thank you,
them,
Doctor.
because I think there's a lot to learn.
Absolutely. And you're absolutely right. I'm a new member and I want to be more active in the community, but we just had a baby, so it's a little tricky. So hopefully I will be a little bit more active in the community.
Thank you.
Welcome.
I urge you to be involved and come every month. Thank you.
Will do. Thank you.
And number 12 is other business. Is there any other business? I see none. So then I'm going to ask my colleagues for a motion to adjourn. Commissioner Vice Mayor Cruz, and I need a second. Commissioner Joel, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned. 7 minutes, we hit the over.
What was the 7?